This week in Sketchbook School, we are exploring with Lynn Chapman. She's an illustrator and an urban sketcher, and she's a lovely person. She has a bubbly personality, and the variety in her work is amazing. She uses so many different tools, and she's just a fantastic and inspiring artist. And this week she teaches us about storytelling and depicting time and many, many ways to fill your sketchbook pages. And for my homework, I made a teeny tiny little accordion sketchbook, which I will bring with me to a jazz improvisation workshop. So this improv session is a workshop for musicians here in Amsterdam, and you can attend for free as an audience. And here a group of sketchers in Amsterdam goes there every week. So I join them every now and then when I can, and then we just sit down and draw the musicians, and it's always intriguing because they have these themes they work on during the workshop. I make drawings like this. It's really trying to explore and to see if you can capture the movement and the people and the surroundings. This is the stage and also the audience, which I really like. Actually, I love drawing the audience too. Here's another one I did. So I know I have 2 hours because the workshop lasts 2 hours. I think I can fill my little sketchbook in 2 hours. I hope so. And hopefully I can bring some kind of story into it, depending on what happens during the evening. So I'll be bringing my tiny sketchbook and a pen and some watercolors, and then we'll just see what the evening brings. I can't film there, I can't share the music they make, but at least I can share whatever happens through my drawings. All right, so here we are at the Bimhuis, the jazz theater in Amsterdam. The jazz improvisation workshop always starts with new people presenting themselves. And there was this one lady who was new, and she sang a song. And I tried to draw her as quickly as possible because I didn't know how long it would take. It was interesting because that first drawing is always a little bit scary, and for her it was also a little bit scary. So I like that we were kind of in the same place on some level. I added a little bit of watercolor, which makes a huge difference, I think. Now, the idea of the workshop is that participants form small bands for one or more songs. So they started with this lady, and she formed a small band to begin with. I really love drawing her because she is so characteristic in her posture and her clothing. And whenever I see drawings of other sketchers, of other workshop sketches, I always recognize her immediately, and everybody loves her. She sings well and she's funny too. So I drew the two of them. That guy is really tall, so I couldn't fit him on the page, and I didn't really want to either. Also, I didn't have much time to draw him because I really focused on her, and then before I knew it, the song was over and he left the stage again. Next up was another band, totally different instruments. In the time that I had, I could just draw 2 people in there, which was quite enough because I struggled a little bit with the postures and especially the proportions. I kind of hated it that I couldn't fit her feet in, but then again, I do love the overlap of the guitar and his posture. And actually, even though initially I didn't really like how the drawing turned out, when I added watercolors, it felt so much better and more balanced, and yeah, I kind of like it. And then these 2 percussionists made a little party of sounds. It was so fun, and it was lucky because they weren't going wild, so they sat quite still, and of course they made a lot of repetitive movements, so that allowed me to focus on those repetitive movements and try to capture those. In my view in front of me, there was this man sitting, so I also drew him, and I think that really adds to the sense of depth. And also, hopefully, it tells you a little bit that I was sitting in the audience. Speaking of the audience, I often really like drawing the audience instead of the musicians. Maybe it's because they sit still, maybe it's because there's interesting characters in there. I don't know, I just enjoy it. So this man here on the left, I really liked his jacket, so I drew that and really was looking forward to add watercolors to it. And those red chairs are very handy because I could just simply count the chairs and then draw the next person. And again, I put the back of the head of the person in front of me to create that sense of depth. You also see that I added a little sentence, "Care for a mint, sir?" And that's because the theme of the workshop was to serve up your music like a chef would serve up a menu to their guests. So if you have, for example, a 5-course meal, you start with an appetizer, then maybe something light, then the main course, then a dessert or a cheese platter, and then maybe something sweet to end the evening with. So, care for a mint, sir? Suddenly makes sense if you know this. And then we got to the last band, and I was kind of worried that I couldn't fit in the lady with the cello completely because I really wanted to have her feet on the page because she wasn't wearing any shoes, and I felt like that gives such a homey feeling to the evening. And at first I felt bummed about it, but I actually like that the head and the feet of the guitarist don't really fit on the page. It's fine. And of course I added watercolors and really enjoyed doing that, adding extra layers for shadows. And in the theme of the menu, the workshop leader was very pleased that finally one of the bands served up a cheese platter. I think it took me about 1.5 hours to fill the mini accordion sketchbook, and that's actually really cool to fill a whole sketchbook in just 1.5 hours. I can really recommend it.